Let's talk crochet. Hey folks, it's Mary, aka MercyTriumphs, and this is Slow Crochet. Today, as I record, it is April 11th, 2026, and I want to talk about everything that I've been crocheting since my last kind of crochet catch-up, which was in the middle of March. And that video, even as I record, is releasing today. So I want to quickly show you everything that I've been working on before I forget and just get too far in advance. So one of the things I need to tell y'all right off is that this is the crochet catch-up of dedicated videos. So what I mean by that is a lot of the things that I've been working on have separate videos that are like process videos, things like that, focusing on those specific projects. And so those will be linked in the video description, along with any other information or patterns or links that I mentioned today. So let me just mention those dedicated videos here at the beginning, and then I will get to the things that I actually can show off in more detail. So number one, the shawl swap, the spring 6 shawl. I always forget, there's so many things that begin with the letter S. The shawl swap that I did with 5 other YouTubers. I did complete that shawl, and there is a dedicated video to the process of that. There's a whole playlist. I've been talking about this for a little bit now, but I do have to acknowledge that that was a lot of what I was working on in the month of March, and then got it shipped off at the beginning of April. The second thing that I want to acknowledge, right now I haven't recorded this video, but I do want to say I have made another of the most popular shawls on Ravelry. It is this one here, the Elise shawl. So hopefully by the time you're seeing this video, the one featuring the Elise shawl has already come out as well. But that was something that has taken up some of my time here in the month. It is really pretty. I do like the shawl, but to hear more about it, more about the process, more about my thoughts there, you can go and check out that video. And then finally, y'all, as I record, this has given me some issues. This project took me a very long time. I dedicated hours, and as of right now, I have tried to edit this video twice, and each time it has been, number one, a very long editing process, but number two, the footage keeps getting corrupted. So I need to get myself together to re-download that footage and give it one more try. And that is a video about this little guy here. This is a amigurumi that I designed myself for the first time. Editing Mary here, I just needed to jump on and let y'all know that that Korok video, that process video, despite me thinking, I don't even know how many hours into it, every time that stuff got corrupted, I don't know what happened. I do have a snippet, so not the entire video, but I do have some of it, but it does end very abruptly. However, at the end of this video, after I have this uploaded, I will upload that little snippet if you are interested, and so that can also be linked in the video description here. But it is incomplete. It has like a beginning part and it gets me through it, but it doesn't go all the way, so it's not really a finished product. However, it is what it is. I thought I might as well throw it out there, and it is something that I mentioned on a recent live stream. And so yeah, if you're interested, go for it. I would love to share that with you, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. But again, it's not a complete video because of technical difficulties. All right, so those were the dedicated videos. What about the not dedicated videos? What about the works in progress that I had ongoing? Number one, well, really, it is just one. Y'all, I finally finished my cardigan. I love this cardigan. I love how it turned out. And yes, I did get inspiration from 3 different patterns. The first pattern I saw was for a little girl's cardigan that had this kind of grid work up at the top at the yoke, and then it went into the flower pattern on the sleeves and on the body of the cardigan. And so what I did is I found someone's free pattern, just the chart, I believe, for the flower. And I found an adult size pattern to go for this raglan style cardigan, and I'll have that linked below, and then the original inspiration picture. And y'all, that might kind of be a theme moving forward, where I'm in this place in crochet where I'm not necessarily following exact patterns, but I'm taking inspiration and I'm doing it myself. I'm doing it my own way. The next cardigan that I want to make is probably in that realm as well. That will be, for the time being, the final cardigan that I have in my head. And I haven't started it yet. Maybe I'll start it. I think there's some more trials I need to do on that. I talked about that in the last video. But anyway, I am dropping in some footage of myself modeling this cardigan. It isn't super long sleeve. Like, I really like how I did the ribbing around the sleeves, how they're kind of flowy and puffy, but then the ribbing is nice enough that I can push up the sleeves up to my elbows. Because y'all, I am so often like elbow deep in wash water or just whatever. I always feel like if my sleeves are too long, they just get in the way. I have a lot of kind of practical constraints on my wardrobe. But that being said, this is a piece that's still soft and flowy and wonderful. And I feel like it adds some softness and some femininity and a little bit of that girliness that sometimes I just miss when life is very practical and very much like get it done and help everyone and do what you need to do, that kind of stuff. Like, I am actively trying to add more whimsy, more flowiness, more softness into my very practical life. So that's what this cardigan represents. Happily, I did have plenty of yarn left from this. Let me grab it real quick. Sorry, Cuthbert. Yes, so this is what I had left. This is the Upcycle Alpaca blend from Knit Picks. It's in the color Oyster. It's a 2-weight yarn. And yes, it's a combination of alpaca, wool, and acrylic. And so I have 5 full balls of these left and several little scrap balls. And that comes from the fact that I attached a fresh ball to each sleeve just because I wanted to do those at the same time. Like, I always do that with my cardigans or sweaters. I work the sleeves at the same time so that, especially as I'm modifying patterns to make sure that they fit me, that I'm doing the same thing at the same time and I don't accidentally get off and I don't have to take as detailed notes. I can just kind of see where I'm at there. This pattern in particular, using the flowers, made it really easy to see where I was in the rows. I didn't have to go back and count row your boat because the flowers made it really clear to see where I was. So I could do that without having to think about it too much. Beautifully with this yarn, since I have, let's see, each ball has 273 yards. So I have well over not a couple thousand, like 1,100 or more yards of this. And that means this is a shawl. And if y'all saw my video about the Middle Tennessee Fiber Festival, that will be linked below, you saw that I picked up some fingering weight yarn to do the Ophelia Talks reading shawl, the Agatha reading shawl. And I was thinking that that would be what I would use that yarn for. It's really beautiful, lovely colors. But I think I've changed my mind. I think I'm going to use the excess of this to do the reading shawl. And my reasoning is that I think I want to use that yarn from the Middle Tennessee Fiber Festival on a pattern that I already know. Like, there's several shawl patterns that I've done in the past, and I've done them in colors that aren't necessarily my colors. I'm not really wearing my colors today, maybe a little bit in that pink there. Again, practical life, right? But sometimes I've made shawls that are really beautiful designs, but I don't feel like I can wear them as much because the colors don't really go with my skin tone and my hair color, and they don't just bring out the best in me. And I think, or because the yarn that I chose was specifically something that I knew I really would wear, I think I'm going to go with a shawl pattern that I've already done in the past for that. Because the Ophelia shawl, the Ophelia Talks Agatha reading shawl, there's so many different names for that shawl, y'all. But because that's one that I haven't done before, I'm going to go with a yarn that maybe isn't as precious. It's still a color that is a great neutral. Obviously, it's a color that I will wear, and I think no matter how it turns out, it's going to be wonderful. But I think for the other one, it's super special. Yeah, so anyhow, that's the plan for that, and that's the plan for this extra yarn. And again, very happy that I have it so I can move on into that realm. It's going to bring me a lot of joy. Other things that I finished this month, they are rather small. This one is a very simple little ear warmer. I don't know that I can necessarily put it on. This is me just trying out an idea and seeing how it would go. I was just using a scrap of yarn, a low pill acrylic, and I was trying out this strategy where it doesn't really matter what the stitch pattern is, but I was just seeing if I could get that fold in the top to land where I wanted it to. So I did want to acknowledge that because it is something that I did make, and I think I'm going to make some more of these, maybe try out some different stitch patterns. But yeah, so little ear warmer there. And then I also was using the Granny Square Flower Power yarn to do a couple other hats. I've done my corner to corner hats with them. This one is another favorite. This is the WWW hat. I really like this one, and in fact I think I'm gonna make another WWW hat out of the plain Granny Square yarn, not the Flower Power. But that gives you an idea of kind of how that works up with like the yellow being the center, and then it works out. Y'all, I've not done an actual Granny Square with those. I haven't tried to make that work. I don't know at this point if I will. The other one that I did is the Divine hat, such a classic hat. I just finished that this morning. But yeah, you know what, guys? Like, I used a size J hook on this one, actually on both of them, like a vintage J, so it might be a little bit larger than like a 6.0. I don't know, it's felt really thick in my hands. But I'm realizing as I've been working more and more with finer and thinner yarns, like I'm realizing how much I enjoy that so much more. And it's almost like my hands are a little bit out of practice using my standard J hook and worsted weight yarn. But anyhow, that is how the Divine hat works up in that Flower Power yarn. You can see the bright orange in there as kind of the center. Interesting and fun. These two will definitely go towards donation in the future. Is there anything that I'm currently working on? Of course there is. That Middle Tennessee Fiber Festival yarn, y'all, I only came away with 4 skeins, but one of them was this Wildflowers color in indigo guinea fiber, and I grabbed it knowing that I was going to make a seafarer's cap or watch cap, or y'all, I've made it so many times. It's kind of like street names. It's like I'm one of those people where I could tell you where to go, but I couldn't necessarily tell you the street names. Same thing with these patterns. Like I know the general pattern, I know what I can do with it, I can get you there, but I don't know the exact name of it. It's listed here below. I know it's by Beth Hall though. Crochet Seafarer's Cap, I think. Anyhow, that takes about 200 yards of a worsted weight, and that's what this is. The thing that takes so long is 4 rows back and forth of the slip stitches, and you can see I have stitch markers here for the different parts of the hat, and that just means that I can go on autopilot for the most part, not to think too much. I'm using a 5.5 millimeter hook, one of my very favorite vintage boy hooks, with that wonderful kind of matte feeling to it. And y'all, this is such a joyful thing for me. Like, I love this yarn. It is so beautiful, and I'm already thinking about next year for the Middle Tennessee Fiber Festival, and thinking about really budgeting to go hard with indigo guinea fiber, because oh my goodness, again, I couldn't have imagined such beautiful yarn. And on that note too, while I'm on it, there's several other yarn vendors that like, oh, I so easily could have snapped up just 1 or 2 skeins or 1 or 2 hanks of that. I think I want to be a lot more intentional about even saving towards that, just because in general, like I like my stash. There's plenty of projects that I can do with my stash, and I'm at this point where I don't really need anything in my wardrobe. So if I'm going to crochet something, it might be worth it to spend the money on really gorgeous fibers that my heart sings over. Saying that, I glance to the side and I see this cake of a mill-in yarn, and I'm remembering that Hirschner's sent me their circular, and it has some more mill-ins in it, and I've already started thinking like, I really enjoyed getting the mill-ins before with all the shawls I do. Man, I think I'm going to do that too. So that maybe at this point there's an unboxing video, maybe there's not. Maybe I just need to narrow down and say like, hey, my main focus on buying yarn are going to be these things, or maybe I need to just like not have any rules for myself at all, just have my budget and just be like, this makes me happy, I can spend it however I want. Anyway, all that to say, I've started a new shawl with this. This is a Milton cake from Hirschner's. I think it's like a size 2 yarn, and I know it's in a acrylic cotton blend. And I am making one of the most popular shawls, if not the most popular shawl. Do y'all know which one it is? There's your little tip, your little hint for what I'm going to be going for in the next little bit for the next video in that series. I won't have this one listed below because if you know, you know, and I'm sure you know. I'm sure you can guess it. Actually do, why not? Guess what it is in the comments. See if you've already made that shawl. I know I've made it a couple of times in the past, but I never really took pictures. But yeah, let me know. That one's going to be a good one to kind of go on autopilot as well. So that is what I've been crocheting lately. It feels like it is a lot, but it also doesn't feel like too much. In terms of actual works in progress, I have the hat, I have the shawl. I have got to start on this, the Yarn Bee bamboo to full yarn. I need to start making some warm weather tops because as of right now, it's not too hot yet, but it will be soon. And I've been looking at patterns and trying to decide what I want to do. And I think, y'all, I'm just going to end up kind of fudging it and making my own pattern. That tends to be something that works the best for me. So like finding a stitch pattern that I really like. Goal is to make it fairly solid without being too of like a dense fabric. Like, you know how single crochet is very dense and not a lot of stretch to it. I want to have some flow and movement, but I don't want it to be wholly because I don't want to have to wear things underneath this. That kind of defeats the purpose of a summer top when you have to do layer after layer. So that is the goal, to get to work on this. My other goal is to nail down the hexagons that I want to do. I have been actually doing the African flower hexagon because the cardigan that I want to do requires a lot of those. And I want to do a couple more tests just to see how I want those to play out. Do I want to do them all in one color? Do I want to do some variations? And then how many will I need? That kind of thing. Oh, that reminds me, one last thing that I did make, and it's so small that I don't even think about it, but it's this little lovely thing. If you have seen, you might recognize this from another video, not of mine. There's your tip, but these beautiful little lilies of the valley. I did this sweet little bag charm, and I think it just works so perfectly with my tote bag right here. This was a design that I had on my Ravelry queue for the longest time, and there's a few more on there that I want to do, but I really just wanted to like knock out a couple of really small things. And this one took me maybe 30 minutes all told, so not super fast, but I am slow crochet. But I just love how it looks. I love how I have my little tote, and it just adds that little extra something. And I will have this pattern linked below as well. I have it just kind of looped through here. And so you thread your string through the leaves, and that can kind of tighten or loosen as well. And you can kind of have the flowers at different lengths as well. So really love that. I think it's super cute. I'm not really gonna do a ton of bag charms. I know those have been a thing, and there's all kinds of patterns for different bag charms. They were trendy for a while. They can go on backpacks. They're great little gifts, like backpack buddies. But it's a little way of adding a little extra whimsy and girliness and sweetness in the midst of my practical life. So I had to make sure that I featured that as well. So that is it for me today. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. Thank you for catching me on this video and all the others that you've been on. Thank you for all the ways that you've encouraged me, supported this channel. Y'all, it is such a joy to get to talk crochet with y'all, to get to share the things that I've made, and also a little bit of that background of videos that are upcoming and videos that are ongoing and all the kind of different bits and pieces of my crochet creative world. It is really a joy to get to connect with y'all. Thank you for everyone who comments and likes the video. Thank you for those of you who are like my yarny friends on here. I really do appreciate you. And if for whatever reason I'm not your cup of tea, thank you so much for listening this long. I do appreciate you, and I do hope I'll see you again soon.